Okay, so here I am here at the QNAP Tech Summit happening right now at the same time as Computex 2025 here in Taipei. This is a huge expo happening right now from QNAP where they're demoing a lot more of their new hardware and their new software for 2025. Hopefully we're going to see a lot of stuff in here to do with a lot of SMB, but let's be honest, we want to see what's happening with their newer generation of devices coming into 2025. So let's take a look. Scale out. Let's be honest, now data's getting bigger, hard drives are getting bigger, we've got decades of data, and QNAP wants to talk about scale out storage. Now, they have been in the market producing a lot of desktop and rack mount solutions for a wee while. But I'm hearing a lot more about QUTS Mega. Now, this is their operating system built on everything we've heard before, but on a massive scale-out scale. What does that mean in real terms? We're, of course, talking about stuff like this. This is the 6020 SEP. This is a 60-bay solution. 60 individual bays there of SAS or SATA storage connected via HD mini SAS via a range of cards in 2 and 4 ports. This allows you to scale up with QUTS Mega. Quick edit I'm slamming in here because the thing I've just said is wrong. You can scale up to 45 petabytes, and that's across 96 nodes, by the way, in terms of scale out with QUTS Mega. So I wanted to slam this in there because, let's face it, that's a big difference. With numerous RAID configurations up to triple parity and more, each one of these units allowing you to add a petabyte of storage like that. Now, in real terms, that means that these expansion cards from QNAP here, again, we've got ourselves a 2-port and a 4-port, each one of them giving that 12 gig SAS per connection, allows you to add that petabyte of storage to a myriad of different systems very, very easily there. And again, QUTS Mega isn't the only operating system from QNAP that's going to allow you to take advantage of large amounts of storage, but it's been optimized towards that larger scaling of data there for you. You didn't really think there wasn't going to be anything Thunderbolt 5 related at this show. Let me introduce you to the TVS AI1688ATX. What a name. This is the follow-up to that pretty interesting 16-bay solution. 12 SATA bays to play with there, but on top of that, 4 U.2 bays. Now, this is running on an Intel Ultra core with 2 different CPU profiles, but at the moment, they're still in the stages of whether it's going to roll out with or as an optional upgrade for Thunderbolt 5. But they've already got a Thunderbolt 5 upgrade card ready to rock to take advantage of an 80 gigabits per second connection. Now, you may have already noticed next to it a cheeky little 8-bay that we talked about last year. This is the USB4 8-bay expander. So it's a JBOD box there, but it allows you to take advantage of the 40 gigabits per second bandwidth to connect those 8 bays of storage. Populate that with SATA SSDs, slam them via a USB Type 4 slot, and there is a USB 4 upgrade card and Thunderbolt 4 upgrade card as well. This is an enormous amount of storage potential and external bandwidth at your fingertips. And thanks to the adoption of that Intel Ultra core, notwithstanding the tera operations per second potential for AI deployment, the system also arrives with dual 10 gig network connections, scalability up to 25 gig and even 50 gig and 100 gig cards, and regardless of the scale of your content creation, of your video or photo editing, there's a huge potential for how much you can scale out the live editing, distribution, sharing, and access to the data on the fly. Again, this is a beefy little desktop model. We've already talked about previous generations of the 12+4 series from the brand, but it's how it integrates together with that USB 4 expansion and some of those USB 4 adapters that we mentioned earlier on. We already talked about the 10 gig dual port and the 25 gig cards, but of course, there's things like the real easy USB 4 to 10G upgrade that you can take advantage of on client systems to really spread out that multi-user access to really reinvent that workflow with ease. Next up, this is something I've been particularly looking forward to see here, as this is something I've heard about for the better part of a year. Do you remember when QNAP had USB Type 4 to 10 gig adapters? Well, things have got a lot more interesting. Come on in. So number one, we've got ourselves a USB 4 to 2 times 10 gig copper output here. Again, no additional power required. It does have active cooling inside alongside an enormous external heatsink running all the way around the device. Again, taking advantage of USB Type 4 there. Now, it doesn't end there, because alongside copper, we can also take advantage of SFP. They've got the same thing, but taking advantage of fiber for those that want to take advantage of the larger distance afforded to SFP connections. Now, at this point, you'd think, USB4, one port, allowing you to get access to dual port 10 gig upgrades is so convenient, right? Say hello to 25 gig adapters here. This is USB Type 4 to two 25 gig adapters here. Again, you are going to require additional power delivery, but overall between this is an enormous, convenient and a hugely powerful upgrade to content creators, video production, or widespread file access on a larger level. Again, 25 gig via USB 4? This is borderline insanity. Was anyone else waiting for QNAP to upgrade this little 9-bay? For those that aren't in the know, the TS-973AX came out in about 2020, 2021, and it was, for me, one of the best NASs they've released in a very long time. Now, that NAS had 5 hard drive bays, it had 4 SSD bays, and it had 10 gig. However, things just got interesting. This is the TS-974TX. It's got 4 SATA hard drive bays. It also has SATA and U.2 upgrade slots there. Again, better storage. But what's interesting on this Intel i3 powered system is it arrives with 10 GBE, 2.5 GBE, and 2 Thunderbolt 4 slots. This is a merging of a lot of different kinds of storage architecture from this brand, and I would say right now, this might be the best NAS I'm going to see this year in terms of hardware, internal and external bandwidth. Carrying on with new hardware, we've got Alex Schur here, who's going to guide us through some bloody big rack mounts. So let's start off with this first bad boy over here. This looks like a 10-bay flash. What are we seeing here?
We'll see a monster here. You got an entry-level enterprise-grade SATA all-flash NAS with AMD Ryzen 7000 series, up to 8 core and 4 by DDR5 UDIN. You can expand up to 192 gig, and it is sorry.
We're going to leave that in. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah. And default install with the 32 gig DDR5 UDIN ECC.
So ECC support as well. In terms of scale up and upgradability,
yeah.
PCIe slots, is there anything? If we have a little look around the back, what are we looking at?
And from the left side, we will see 2 PCIe expansion slots, which
what's the speed on those?
It's a PCIe Gen 4x8 for both expansion slots, which can ensure you to get a 2 by 25 gig. Or you can expand with the SATA expansion card or SATA expansion card.
Because I was going to ask about that. Over there, I don't know if we've talked about it yet in the video, but they've got an enormous 60-bay solution over there that is supported by a myriad of different solutions here. So I assume if you get that with the dual-port SATA expansion card,
yes,
that you can add another petabyte of storage.
Of course.
Obviously, that's going to be like SAS-related storage there.
SAS or SATA is from both sides. Yeah.
And these connections here, I assume we got some 10G to play with?
Yeah. Two 10 gig ST and 2.5.
Perfect, and we got redundancy as well. So next, what are we looking at here? And I'm not even going to let you see it.
Yeah,
what are we looking at here?
For this one is our dual active NAS.
Cool.
It's a QES system, and then like we know, we have a ES1686 DC before, but at this generation we unified the controller cage, and we unified the PSU with its broader model ES2486 DC. So now if you have any issue with these two machines, you can just change the controller or change the PSU.
So it's far more modular in terms of its design.
Yes,
that's
more
fantastic.
Modular, yes.
Well, I was going to say, so this is a high availability model, so if it's high availability, I assume we're going to see ourselves a couple of big controller boards. And we do. So let's have a look inside one of these bad boys. Let's have a look. So inside we've got ourselves, as we would expect, the full breakdown. Is the AMD Ryzen 7 as well, the Pro?
No. This one is for the Intel Xeon.
So So you're running on a Xeon, okay.
Skylake D.
And how much memory does that go up to?
This one can up to 128.
So 128, and that's across the two controllers. So users can take advantage of both active controllers if they choose, rather than just having it as an instant failover system.
Yes.
Fantastic there. Let's slot those back in. And I can't help but notice that I am guiding and hiding probably the biggest device of all, and that is this one. So the TS-462A, this is quite a monster. Tell me about it. What are we looking at?
Use the same platform as the Temp all-flash I told you, and this one is also powered by AMD Ryzen 7000 series up to 8 core, which means it is best for it is suitable for the video editing or even for the virtualization or container usage, and it is equipped with 24 by 3.5 inch SATA drive in the front, and then inside we will have a 2 by 2 M.2 PCIe Gen 5 SSD for caching.
So Gen 5 there for the additional caching. That's some phenomenal speed there. That's going to be advantageous today. And on top of that, we've got some PCIe's distributed there across 4 and 4. And finally, throughout the course of this video, I won't lie, this cheeky little number's been sitting here in the background. So it's a QUBO. What am I looking at?
Oh, this one is the QNAP first industrial grade NAS. It's a dim rail wide temperature NAS, which is suitable for the factory usage or MES scenario. And you got 3 M.2 inside and 2 gigabytes.
So this is a pure flash industrial NAS.
Yes.
For easy deployment. I can see even the power delivery is a far more like enterprise level.
Yes.
But no, fantastic stuff.
And you can do minus 40 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius.
So again, harsh weather environments, great. We keep hearing a lot about localized AI deployment and the benefits of it. We've got Amol here to talk to us about on-prem, so localized RAG search. So straight away, what is RAG, and more importantly, how are users going to benefit from this?
Sure. So RAG simply means retrieval augmented generation. But just coming to the main problem here, we have a lot of documents stored on QNAP NAS, and we have Q search to find right data for you. But that's the traditional way of search. When you search, put a keyword and you get documents, then you find your answer by yourself. But with the capabilities of Q search combined with on-prem LLM forms a RAG search experience. And just like ChatGPT, instead of asking for the files, you can just ask for the answer. And the whole system works and try to get the exact answer for you based on the data or the files stored on QNAP NAS.
So contextual data retrieval.
Text, yes. So let's say, how does it work? So we are launching our new product called QAI H1290FX, which is a Edge LLM storage server or Edge AI storage server, which comes with 2 NVIDIA RTX 4000 ADA graphics cards or 1 RTX 6000 graphics card.
And that's pre-populated with the device?
Yes. So this is a complete appliance. You just buy it and it's all set. It will come with our on-prem RAG search, which is part of Q search. So with this, you will be able to run different LLM models on top of the QNAP NAS, just like DeepSeek, Mistral, Phi, and so on, Gamma.
But all locally, on-prem, on bare metal, no external access.
Nothing. So if you are the enterprise who care about the privacy and you also want to leverage the latest RAG search technologies, this is the complete solution for you. One-time capex, but a long-term solution just for you with complete privacy for your data. Now, let's see in action. So I have a lot of data, like I have stored a lot of financial reports on my NAS, and I just want to ask the question, is NVIDIA a profit-making company, and can you prove it with some numbers? So I'm asking this question, and I'm using DeepSeek 30R1 32 billion parameter model, and which will be using these 2 graphics cards. So let's ask the question, and it will start working on this. If you have ever used DeepSeek, so you know it will always keep telling you what it's doing. So as you will see that it will try to go through all my documents and try to create answer for you. So everything happening on-prem using DeepSeek 32 billion parameter model. And till it forms the answer, let me show you the options that we are providing here. So this is the rack search. We also have option if you want to go for cloud. In that case, you can just get a small NAS which can support Q search, and then it can consume the cloud LLMs.
People have got that flexibility.
Exactly. And if you are the enterprise who worry about the privacy, then this is the on-prem solution. So here we have listed different AI models and different parameters that they can support. You can just quickly with a button, you can download that model. Once the model is downloaded, it's available for you to consume. And our answer is ready. NVIDIA indeed a profit-making company, and it is giving me all the facts based on what
contextual information in
exactly.
PDFs.
And not only answer, it is also giving me all the documents that it referred to come to this conclusion. So this is a complete experience, same like ChatGPT, but on top of QNAP NAS. That's our on-prem rack search powered by on-prem LLM appliance.
Now, extending that look at AI integration within the QNAP NAS systems, we've got another system here with that A6000 card already inside the NVIDIA RTX. And this is another way in which you're going to be able to integrate that AI use. Now, this is the containerized AI deployment within this system. And this is something we've been asking about a lot on local bare metal NAS solutions. And that is to make it easier for the non-technically savvy to control their system, to control their data, but also retrieve that data easily. Now, we've already talked a short while ago about rack search and searching and analyzing the data within the system, and that is, of course, very, very useful. However, with this integration here, hopefully you can see it on screen right now, this will allow you using human language to be able to set up shares, set up individual users, control, get real-time analytical information from the system, asking the system to find out who has been accessing the system for the last 24 hours. Has there been mass file changes over the time using bare metal, non-remote access AI implementation and LLM identification of that text within the system. So again, this is going to be controlling how the data flows through the system. For example, let's say you have an employee that you've suddenly realized right now is doing something bad with the data, maybe taking it off-site in a way that they shouldn't. Now, asking your local sysadmin to look into these things for you takes time. It takes a lot of technical know-how, but the ability to be able to enter it via simple human language, find out what exactly a user has been doing for an extended period of time, and to sever all of their access or set them to read-only access at any given moment using human language without the integration of a system admin is going to be useful. The same thing about to analyze just what your system has been up to, it's going to be useful. I know a lot of users see the word AI being implemented into a lot of technology as a big fad thing, and there is certainly an element to that, but it has to be said for those that want to be able to take advantage of the efficiency benefits of AI, some of the advantages are out there, and as mentioned earlier on, you don't have to go for the big boy units that have got a GPU included. A lot of these advantages, depending on the LLM that you choose to deploy within your system, there's some of those third-party ones that are still locally deployed, you can get away with very low-end specifications. Now, things like this one, where you can run like the TPU Coral from Google or some of those M.2 AI upgrades, obviously the scope is going to be a little bit more limited, but you're still going to be able to take advantage of some of those features as more and more AI models roll out, growing on their efficiency. Bottom line, with a wide range of solutions here that cover different AI deployments, I do think there is an argument for even a typical small entry and enthusiast users to start looking into the advantages of AI recognition, AI retrieval, and to a degree, with the right safeguards, AI control. High availability, what is it and should you care? Nice and simple, it is about reducing downtime. The more users you've got accessing your system, whether it is all the way around the world or just on a local area network, if your system dies, a 40 PSU, a power cut or more, you want to know that you can still share and access that data, whether it is for backups or if you're a financial institution where you've got a lot of money wrapped up in your data. Now, high availability spans into three different key things here at the QNAP Tech Show here. So one of the earliest ones, the ones that a lot of people associate with high availability, is dual controller systems. 2 CPUs, 2 lots of memory, 2 lots of connections, 2 lots of PSUs. This is an active setup here. We talked about it before, but this system here, again, the 16860DC, allows you to run them both. You can still take advantage, by the way, of both of the controllers at any given time to really get the boost, but this thing is at its best when if one of those controllers dies because of a CPU failure, because of a PSU failure, you're carried over. You've still got your access, and it's all going to be accessible by the same pathways with all of your connected users. Now, that still extends to if you want to go with parallel running systems. Now, this is a more of a domestic entrance point here, something we've talked about on the channel before, running 2 systems side by side. Now, I'm told that these 2 devices, for example, what you would have is their own PSUs running there in the background, and this is an active-passive setup here, and this is when, if the active fails, the passive, within a minute, will carry on where you left off. It will reinstate those connections, and therefore your end users won't know the difference. However, you may have noticed they're at the top. It extends beyond just the servers. This is a high availability switch setup. And now, yes, this is a little niche, but this allows for users to make sure that those network profiles, those VLANs, all of those dedicated connections that have very specific and secure pathways have the same amount of high availability and failover as the server. Now, there hasn't been a huge amount of budget here at the show, it has to be said, in terms of smaller profile devices, but this, the TS-262A and the TS-462A, are a scale up from the existing 62 series, merging with that of the 64 series, giving you just a little bit more hardware. I'm not going to say that these are groundbreaking devices, but I will say, as a more affordable entry level for Intel-powered systems, these 2 are arriving with their Intel Celeron N5105 CPU, with 2 gig of DDR4 memory that can scale up to 16 gig, and 2 Gen 3 x 1 M.2 NVMe slots inside. It's still pretty good bang for your buck. Now, you do miss out on a few things compared to the 64s. For example, neither of these systems feature the PCIe upgrade slot. Also, they only have a single 2.5 GBE. These devices do not serve as an upgrade to that of the 64 series. I've spoken to a few people here, and there is something in the works there, but they're not prepared to talk about it right now. But at least for the entry-level stuff, if you do want to take advantage of something like Plex Media Server without really breaking the bank, I imagine these 2 are probably going to be among the cheapest, most affordable, but also the more capable option for your money. Anyone that's used a QNAP for backups already knows about Hybrid Backup Sync, HBS3. However, here at the show, we're actually seeing the next gradual step up from it. This is Hybrid Backup Center. Now, Hybrid Backup Center is their multi-site overviewing appliance here. Now, as you can see here on screen, we've got standard NAS overview here. We've got the backup and sync task, as well as the overview of all of the tasks for backups that are happening at any given time, as well as listing of all of the different sites for our backup, including not only QNAP's own storage spaces there, but also bare metal and cloud-based spaces as well. However, it's with the topology that we can really dip in there. Notwithstanding, we've got the target central appliance there for backups. Each one of these letters is a backup. So let's say, for example, we look at this one backing up to the QNAP cloud space here. We can look at there, we can find out a lot more about that backup operation at any given time. We can go ahead and check that live synchronization if we choose to, that's running now with QSync. However, if we wish, we can go into this one here. As you can see, it gives us the history of this backup, and at any time, we can now run that from centrally, and we can see the direction of that backup happening at any given time. Now, this is currently in beta. I believe a lot of users are going to be able to play with this on their own deployments. Obviously, have your other backups in place, because this is still a beta appliance, but this is a really interesting scale-up of Hybrid Backup Sync towards a multi-site singular pane of glass backup appliance here. I'm really looking forward to featuring this on the channel to see how it compares against their biggest competitor. Now, the amount of control this affords to you really is QNAP clearly trying to challenge active backup for business from Synology here. Notwithstanding, you can see a lot of that real-time information, but the restoration from some of your write once, read many targets there, it'll allow you to create brand new restore points and then use some of those existing jobs. fact, you can go ahead with the jobs that you've created or create a brand new one and then adapt a lot of those settings, as well as get real smart with how you want to change up a lot of those backup operations. And again, all of those activities that you're able to monitor in any given time, or find out where those resources are being consumed and the flow of that data overall. And again, the topography here is very customizable. The amount of access and control of what you can see can be adjusted, and this user interface, it can either be accessed locally or remotely via the QNAP web services. Now, I would say right now, in summer 2025, this little stick here is going to definitely concern some users. This is a QNAP branded E1S M.2 NVMe. Now right now this is being shown alongside that TBS5 based Thunderbolt and 10 GBE model. But I think a lot of us are going to be slightly concerned that we're seeing QNAP SSDs here. Now, I've asked a lot of people here about what exactly is going to be QNAP's stance on this. Is this going to become the de facto? And they've reassured me several times, I'm going to have to take them at their word, that this is not the plan. They're still going to continue to support third-party alternatives from Seagate, WD. In fact, they've stacked the SanDisk drives right here next to the QNAP drives. But still, nonetheless, I think a lot of users would still want to make sure, if QNAP, if you're watching this, do not make these the de facto option. Support other brands. I just wanted to add that. Okay, so surveillance. Let's face it, a lot of people utilize the network attached storage solution for surveillance, something that QNAP have engaged with on their platform a lot with QBR Pro and QBR Elite. However, if you wanted to go for a dedicated device, you got something like this. Now, the TVR AI200 is a slightly different beast. Now, there are plenty of NVRs in the market, right? So what exactly sets this apart? Number one, it's got 16 PoE ports on the rear. Now, those 16 PoE ports there, this supports up to 16 cameras immediately. No mucking around with licenses, no mucking around with trying to enter in keys or getting anything online. You deploy the 16 cameras immediately. It takes advantage of a lot of the AI surveillance methodology for facial recognition and human detection built into this device here. Again, you can utilize all of the standard QVR client applications in order to take advantage of it, as well as a new scaled up version of QVR surveillance that allows you to have multi-site control all from a single client interface. You can also monitor a lot of the alerts and get the whole thing tailored within a single interface. Now, most of this is going to be available by taking advantage of most other QNAP NAS solutions. But it's the idea that this is centered towards the QVR application, therefore focusing a lot of those hardware resources directly into that one app. And don't forget, the 16 cameras supported out of the box on this one, and the internal storage there to have it all within the one system, as well as the ability to offload with QVR Vault onto another QNAP NAS system nearby, or taking advantage of an expansion. So there you go. That is everything we've seen right now at the QNAP Summit here in Taipei in 2025. There were other things there, stuff that we've already talked about before, and of course all of the IEI stuff, but predominantly what we've learned today, there's been a bigger focus on high availability, there's been a huge focus on that scale out storage, and of course we've seen a lot more of that USB4, Thunderbolt 4 and Thunderbolt 5 technology inside there. Now, below there's going to be an article where you can find out a lot more information about all the stuff that we've seen, and I'm going to keep adding more and more to that article because there are lots of small things that didn't quite make the cut in today's video. But ultimately, right now, if you want to learn more about this and you are in Taipei for Computex, I recommend you check it out. It's one stop more on the train. But for the rest of you, I'm probably going to put together a few more software pieces because I really want to find out more about that hybrid backup center. I want to find out more about some of that scale out storage, and ultimately, just where is QNAP going for the rest of 2025 in terms of hardware more than anything else. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will see you on the next video.